Hi, Marco here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It has been around 2 weeks, at least for me, since I last recorded the last episode. Um, but yeah, we're going back to this game. I think I remember we're jumping off from discovering this lady that is present in the scene of the crime, right? And right now we're suspecting that this girl is or has more involvement in this case than initially thought, and I personally think that she may be our culprit for this case, right? So yeah, let's continue from where we paused last time. I think we're on to the next testimony. Yeah, right. Let me read the testimonies first. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously, I couldn't have been the culprit. So that's the testimony. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor, at the end of which you shot him, which is an out and out, totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast of you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. It's not my fault, it's my uniform. I can't really change it, right? I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Exactly. Well, anyway, this is our only chance to expose her testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you with thick skin must be able to feel the murderous look you're getting from around you. Only too well. I feel half dead already. And the fact that I can't see a single inconsistency in her testimony isn't making me feel any better either. The first thing to do is press her on any of her statements that seem even slightly off to you. Do that, and an opening will present itself, I promise you. That's reassuring at least. I need to expose the true face of this exotic foreigner that's hiding behind the mask. That's what I should be aiming for in this cross-examination. Okay? Okay, so we're now examining the testimonies. But again, as pointed out by Rinosker, right? There's not much inconsistency, at least in its current state. So we need to press for these statements so that we can get more information. So let's start with this first testimony. Let's press. After 2 p.m., in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it? Okay. You don't keep up with the latest fashion from Great Britain, do you? Late luncheons are en vogue, isn't that right? No. Ugh. Hmm. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Yes, yes, that all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence that this fine gentlewoman is. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. Okay, let's press, I guess. Let's see if we can get anything from this. He was unable to eat, you say. And that was because he just had a tooth removed at Hot Clinic, correct? That's right. Uh, you're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right. Other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes. The professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. Okay. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. Okay. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Kirinosuke, about the witness's last statement? I think, yeah, let's confirm it with the report record. If they toasted with each other, right, it means that they must have a glass for each person. But as you can clearly see in this picture, there's only one glass. There are only two things that I can think of that can be said or argued back to me. One is that during the fight, one of the glasses might have been spilled over or knocked over so that it was not in this picture. Or second, well, the victim is lying, right? So yeah, they need to find a way to get out of this inconsistency. But let's see if we can make this argument be revised to reflect that detail. Let's check, it's very meaningful. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, how fascinating. Do tell us. What is this profound bearing? Oh no, we're gonna skip. Don't go blank on me, man. Uh-oh. The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. Well sidestep, counsel. Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to be added. What you just said to be added to your official statement testimony. Gladly, she said. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Oh, which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. Oh, I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Rinosuke. I ordered the beef steak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. I think we can clearly see an inconsistency here. Let's just double check here. Let me check again. Again, one glass of carbonated water on the table. And as confirmed as the crime scene photograph, only one glass of carbonated water. I don't think either the professor nor Miss Brett will drink straight from the from the bottle, right? So must have been an inconsistency. So we can present this. I hope you're right.
Yes!
That face. That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Ooh, nice. Nice examination music. Just a short while. You spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was, as you said, exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that is it's odd. Very odd. Dear me. What's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. We're awkward. Ah, Inosuke? What is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. The cheers. Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be two glasses on the table, not one. And we are correct. You're quite right, Counsel. There's only one glass pictured here.
Objection!
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minute? I don't know that word, but that word. What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Objection!
Huh? Nice objection, Kazuma. Well, minutiae, you say? I'm sorry if I butchered that word. Could it be that the detective here removed the glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been two glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only one? You're quite right. I certainly took two glasses on the table. To the table, I mean. Blah 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 blah. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. What? It was also terrifying everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Oh god. Sorry. That's all she said. Sorry. There. As I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Again, they probably can get away with that argument. She panicked and took the glasses to hide her presence in that crime scene. Oh, please. We must remember that this student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable young and beautiful woman of mischief? I mean, What what bearing does it make that she's a woman? But again, this is the old times, so they are regarding women, and most especially foreign women that I regard. No, no, no. This can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Blah 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 blah. It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you see? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So, the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass was absolutely no bearing to the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. God, don't uh, side with the prosecution. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know really. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Well, let me see. Sorry, not that. Let's check the records again. In the medical report, this is clearly a record of some kind of medical treatment. And there's an entry from the for the day the professor was killed. Extraction with the use of anesthesia. Extraction, so he had the tooth out. Yes, it sounds like just before he went for lunch, Dr. Wilson had to have a decayed tooth removed. Or he used a laughing gas so he couldn't feel anything. It's the latest medical advancement in the West. Yes, I've heard people talking about this new idea of anesthetic. It's impossible to imagine not being able to feel pain, though. There's a cautionary note at the end from whoever wrote this. It says, "No food or drink other than water for 3 hours. Post procedure with while anesthesia wears off." Hmm. Does this have any bearing with the case? Have a missing glass? Apparently, I have no thoughts. Just revisit. Single bullet fired at close range, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound, bullet will pass through the body. I'm not sure actually. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's. I think we need to inspect the handbag if it well first if it exists, and second if the glass is indeed in that handbag. I think there's more to that handbag yet are thinking of, right? Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes. We try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Oh, she did say that. So if she carries a handbag, then it is possible to hide a gun in that handbag. Nice catch. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd picked up on that too. Well, honestly, I was not sure, but Yeah. Again, it's been 2 weeks for me. What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard? It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce that there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't be seriously be suggesting Inspector Hosonaga. Yes. Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? Oh god, why not? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun. The one that was actually used to kill the professor. Could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No. Oh god. Order. Order, order. What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Professor Ouchie? Prosecutor Ouchie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at that time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Oh, oh, oh. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Why is that? Why is it so unnecessary? Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. Oh god, another piece of evidence. Is that a photographic print? Okay, the handbag. And there's a glass. It's see-through apparently. And I think that's the victim's hand. Some mark on it. The print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through what's inside. Okay, that's right. Apparently, measured bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Eesh. Oh god, that. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-kun. Ugh, we're slung. Oh no. Inspector Hasanaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. The photograph of the handbag had been entered into the court record. I'll examine it closely. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness, counsel. Oh no. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted to the court record appears to have no further significance. Let's examine this actually. Zoom in. What is that mark? Is that a bull? That looks like a bull's head. Okay. That's sorry it didn't use a glass. There's something wrong with the bag either. I think we need to take note of this mark the professor said. Okay. I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and as I must make my ruling. Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over at the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. Okay, let's take the picture. Oh, just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I am in a worse situation than I was at the start. Oh no, Kazuma is slumped as well. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Rinosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? Haha. I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat, while the strong eat. That's a weird phrase, but okay. You're wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew onto your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain was slipped through his finger. Kazuma, what? Is there really is there really no chance now of turning the trial around? You're the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Uh-oh. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all. Smug little. Rinosuke and Naruhodo, having considered all of the evidence placed
Yes.
before me. Who's that? Oh, nice found. Wait, Your Excellency. Rinosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
Okay. This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives the ruling. This is the most basic protocol of the court.
Yes.
Okay? Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. Nice posing, Rinosuke. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Okay? Now, that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
Objection!
Okay? This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman is carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. Okay? You'd better know what you're doing, Rinosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Yes, I'm desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Yet, I think that the mark has more significance than we thought. Very well, I will grant the defense one final opportunity. What? But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, trial will be over with immediate effect. I will take this scene. Looks imposing. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print the Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify to the court where in this print we see a significant detail to which you have alluded. I mean, okay, the glass is not really the question here. The bag has no significant identification to it, so we really cannot point. I think we can only glean on this mark. This mark must have some significance on this case. So let's point this.
Yes.
Look at this here. It's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. It's true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Okay. Dear me. I was pondering what the new piffle what you would come out with. A burn, you say? On the victim's wrist? Really, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's hand. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in this report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of his mark. However, as the prosecutor Auchi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise detail of this burn. Do we have something like that from our evidence? Wait, certainly not this. Postmortem has no symptom of some sort. Okay. Nothing here as well. Nothing on the card as well. Nothing here. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold up you any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Reinosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging, in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am. If we can just link the burn to the case, we can do that, and we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, counsel. You can possibly hope to do that. Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. If we had evidence that irrefutably linked to the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, you allow it? I would, yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was color draining from Miss Brett's face. Really? I have to find some link between the burn and the case. It's a moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what burn means. Okay, so let me pause this episode right here. So clearly we have a new evidence and a new photographic evidence, in fact, and sorry, Miss Brett um, casually got off from the accusation of bringing another gun with her handbag that is see-through. But a new thing has been presented to us with that burn mark. Right? We have no um, information or thoughts as to what this mark was signifying in the future, but let's see. Again, thank you everyone for watching this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.